as an add-on for a client, or I guess you could do it as like a home program. I don't know. I'd love to know, because I know I love your membership site. Like I've actually got quite a few of your courses, and I love how you can watch videos, and once you've done one bit, I would love to know how to do that.
Yes, so you can do it through ClickFunnels as well. We use Teachable. Jake, welcome. Sorry, mate. We're just sorry for the inconveniences there. I don't know, it was working for one person, then not the next person, then the other person was working for, so I apologize.
That's all good.
Yeah, so good. We're just chatting about ClickFunnels at the moment with Lisa, so we'll probably chat to you about this as well afterwards and see what sort of Lisa was just talking about her spend of running her boot camp every week. So, and ClickFunnels is one of her biggest spends. Yeah, so we use ClickFunnels a lot for our landing pages and all of that sort of stuff. But when we do lead magnets and all that sort of stuff, we use it constantly for that stuff. So we have a lot of them. It's where we actually hosted our courses originally, rather than so we had them originally on ClickFunnels. But what happens is when you have multiple courses, you've got to create multiple logins, and it becomes really messy. So then we moved it to the website. Then the website ended up crashing. Then we moved to Teachable. So ClickFunnels, I don't think for the average trainer is probably a need to spend thing, because you can do the lead magnets through things like Wix and stuff like that, which I think are free. So yeah, it wouldn't be one of the if that's your biggest spender, you're not using it a lot, I would look at maybe changing that one out. And maybe this is a good point to jump over to you, Jake. We'll start fresh here, Jake. What's your quick 101 for these guys? I know a bit of your story from the podcast, but yeah, how about we give a little quick 101 and then we'll jump into the questions.
Yeah, so 101 backstory or in terms
backstory.
Of how we...
Yeah, backstory.
Yeah, sweet. So I run Hype Fitness Outdoor Group Training out in southwestern Sydney in Camden, and I've been doing so for nearly 8 years now. So pretty passionate about fitness and helping people. It's one of my passions, just getting out there and trying to keep fit. And that's how I really got into the business, so to speak. I got in with my twin brother and another very close family friend, and we worked the business for a good few years together. At current, I'm on my own, and I run this business part-time. I manage a PCYC in Liverpool full-time, so it's a bit of a part-time side business for me, but definitely one of the priorities in my life and passion. At current, I've got 92 paying customers through winter. So I feel like we're doing pretty good for winter, and hopefully we can really, really expand on that moving it towards the summer months.
Yeah, beautiful. Now, I know from your story, you'd opened a venue, you'd moved a few locations, and you had a few struggles through that sort of situation, because this is something that's come up a couple of times within people within our group of like, oh, should I be getting a venue? Should I be just doing it at a park? Should I be doing it at a school? What was your little experience with that?
Yeah, so we started off in just a park across the road from my brother's house, and we thought we were killing it with probably 10 to 12 clients registered. We'd do that 2 days a week for an hour, and we thought, oh, how can we take it to the next level? So we thought we'd go to a bigger park, and with that venue move, our first couple of sessions we rocked up with 0 people turning up. So we had to kind of refrain from what we were doing and take a hard look at what we were doing and how we could do things better. So we thought about introducing some challenges and some incentive. A lot of people like incentive and need incentive to, I guess, give themselves a bit of a kickstart or a kick up the backside to get their health and fitness goals established and ticked off their list. So, we introduced some challenges. We looked at our price point, and we wanted to be competitive because in our area, I think there's probably 30 or 40 boot camps around the area that are all vying for one thing, and that's clients and helping people. So we needed to separate ourselves from the rest. And at the time, challenges was probably the one thing that did separate us, as well as the price point as well.
All right, beautiful. And then, so you went into a venue and found it not work for you as such?
Yeah, like I said, I work full time, and so you really need to make use of every single hour you can if you do have a venue, because as we all know, the overheads are quite high, and your investment in time versus the overheads and costs of what people are paying to come in, you need to ensure that you can cover all those costs. And we were making probably $90 a week, investing probably 20 to 30 hours of each evening, each night throughout the week. So our return on investment was very, very low. And sometimes I think people can get caught up in thinking, oh yeah, look at this new CrossFit box, or look at this new F45. I want to replicate that model, but you don't have to be what everyone else is doing. You can keep it simple and be very different to the rest. It's all about people come and participate in your classes because of you and the service you offer. It's not because of the four walls and the roof that you have around you. So if you can offer that change and little touch of service where people can relate to you and they enjoy coming having a chat, I think that's a real difference maker in the landscape of what we're trying to work in, and that's the fitness classes and boot camps.
Yeah, beautiful. So I'll bounce off from there on to Lisa's question in regards to overheads. So now that you're back in a park, Lisa was talking about her overhead. She said they worked out to be about $500 a month, which included things like ClickFunnels, PT Minder, Active Campaign, Zapier, all those sort of things that just add up over time, plus the council fees and that sort of stuff. Can you speak a little bit on your end, like what you're doing, what you're using? Are you using ClickFunnels? Are you using these sort of things, or what's your?
Yeah, sure. That $500 for all that sounds pretty good. I need to speak to her a little bit later.
That's a week.
A week.
Oh,
yeah.
a week.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, my overheads for a month probably wouldn't equate to that. I use Studio Bookings Online for all my booking software. Whilst it's very basic, I pay about $45 a month, and it allows me to set up my classes. I can communicate, run reports, and so on. So it's very, I think, basic model, but it's very easy for, I guess, the time pool like myself coming home from work and having to get ready for a class and look who's booking in, look who's paid, who hasn't paid. I also manage a website, just a GoDaddy website again. So look, my overheads would probably be around about that $250 mark. I did look into my PT Hub. I found that quite difficult for myself to navigate through. And I've tried various websites and robots for our social media, things like that. But I've just tried to keep it really minimalistic and basic, just so it's with the time I've got, it just makes it as easy and effective as possible.
So what was the one you were using, just to clarify, the PT one?
Yeah, the Studio Bookings Online.
Studio Bookings Online. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, it's very, very easy interface. It comes with an app that people can download, and they receive messages from me on the app. It'll come up as a pop notification. They can see how much credit they've got left, and it also allows me to keep track of their. You can upload like health pre-screening tools. You've got all their contact information at the touch of your hands, even when you're out, in the field, and you instead of having all this paper and things like that, all the information's on your phone. If something does to happen, if you have to contact an emergency contact, it's really handy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like PT Minder.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and PT Minder, is that setting you back a bit, or is that about the same cost?
$39 a month.
$39 a month. Okay.
Well, that's very good.
They're great. I'm paperless. They've got pre-exercise. I can do the pre-exercise questionnaire. All their contact details. I've got debit success in there, so I can see all my financials. I can invoice them, so it's like that as well.
Okay. So for you, Lisa, your biggest expense is probably the ClickFunnels.
Yeah, so, ClickFunnels. Yeah, I'd say that ClickFunnels and ad spend.
Yeah. Okay. And then, ad spend. The thing is, ad spend's all right. Like, as long as you're getting people back from the ad spend.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any ads on at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ad spend, the way you want to look at that is, as long as you're getting a return, that doesn't really matter. Like, yes, it goes into expenses, but if you're putting $500 on an ad every week and getting, $500 back every week or $1,000 back every week, obviously, your minimum breaking even, or, breaking even on the front end. But then if people stay with you challenge after challenge, that's where you're making your money as well. So that having a look at something like that. So back to you, Jake, are you using anything like ClickFunnels or anything like that to run any of your stuff, or is it just like the GoDaddy website at the moment?
Yeah, no click funnels. I do promote ads on Facebook at the beginning of each challenge, or if I've got a new program starting, I'll usually throw probably between $50 to $100 on that.
Yep.
And I've found that quite simple, but again effective as well. So gone are the days where you have to buy an ad in the newspaper. It's just so easy.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I think for you, Lisa, was having a look at some of those things, having a look at the click funnels, because for me personally, as for us, we need it. But if you're just relying on, if you're just running a boot camp, I think you could probably get away with cheaper technology than click funnels. Yeah, that would be my look at that. Like I know. So Loretta, you run lead magnets quite regularly, where you're capturing details. What are you using to capture their details? Is it Wix or something like that? What's your?
I've just got a page. I've got a Wix website, and I've just set up a page to look like a landing page, but it's a page on my website.
Okay.
So I'm not paying any extra for a lead, lead pages or anything like that. So it's purely that way in terms of capturing. It's only fairly new for me in doing the lead magnet and trying to capture data that way. So far so good though. And I think that's my goal, but I just find ClickFunnels a little pricey. So I'm being a bit reticent to sign up. So.
And Stuart, on your end?
Yeah, I've just my website's run through Wix as well, so I can just set up landing pages there.
Okay. Yeah, beautiful. All right. All right. Well, we'll go around the grounds a little bit. Have we got questions for Jake? We got any other questions? Are you happy for me to keep leading? Loretta, you got something? Loretta's our go-to question person.
I've always got questions. Apology if it's really loud. I'm literally at the carnival at the moment, so there's a lot of kids around. So how many people do you have currently, and what's the structure of your sessions? What times, how often, how many times a week do you run them?
Yep, so I've got 92 at the moment. Same time every day, Monday through to Thursday, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. And then I have the traditional Saturday morning class. I've just started morning classes throughout the week, just after school drop-off. And I've made that 3 days a week, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for those mums that potentially can't get to our evening sessions. And we've got a regular 10 to 12 rocking up to those. So for the first couple of weeks, it's been quite good. So hoping that expands as the weather warms up. What was the other part to your question?
Payment structure, I think.
Payment structure?
Yeah, so like are they on like a 10-week challenge or just week to week or?
Yeah, so previous, what I did, just everyone had the one price, so it was non-negotiable. For 10 weeks, it was $200, unlimited classes, which I previously had 4 classes a week.
Yeah.
And I put that up last challenge to $250 for the 10 weeks. But now I've gone to session packs because I feel like whilst, it's great to get all that money up front, and I still do, I think it's important that that I offer flexibility. So I offer a 30, a 20, 10 and 5 session pack, all of which have a 10-week expiry on them. So every 10 weeks, I still run my challenges, but people just are aware that once their 10-week expiry is up, they need to renew through my studio bookings online to purchase their credits, and they book in every class, and it helps myself and my trainers see how many clients we have, and we can better prepare. So they use their credits as they go along. But I also offer direct debit as well as another option for those people that can only afford to pay weekly.
Okay. Yeah, look, I think that's the important message we've got from a couple of people who are doing those session packs. A couple of these trainers are using those session packs, but all of them still run like a 10-week challenge. And it's like, look, if you want to buy 50 sessions or 30 sessions, that's fine, but you still need to use them within our 10-week period. So I think that's the big message that we've had from a couple of these guys when they're using those session packs is that they need to be used a really defined period of time. So I think that's important takeaway there as well. Now, I was going to ask with your, you get people booking in for just knowing how many people are going to attend your sessions and stuff like that, Jake?
Yeah, previous, yeah, because sometimes, like even in summer, we've had over 100 people in one session, so it's really hard if you plan a circuit, and you've only planned for 60.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just to be better prepared and be more professional, because no one likes seeing a trainer not prepared and have to think on their feet. And yes, it could come easy to some people, but others it can be quite stressful. So I think preparation's the key. And if you can give your trainers, if it's not yourself, as much preparation and information for their session, it's going to make sure they're better prepared for any variables that come their way.
Yeah. Look, I think on our experience, we never used any of those things. We just sort of, we usually had 2 trainers down at most sessions, and we sort of had a rough idea how many people were turning up at each session anyway. We used Facebook just like at the beginning of the week. Hey, let us know when you're coming. You're coming Monday, Friday, Wednesday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever. But I mean, for $40 a month, those PT Minder or the My Studio things sound like they're pretty priceless. Sounds like they handle, communications, they handle the pre-screeners. For $10 a week, it's probably a no-brainer. In our experience, we didn't use it, but to me, it sounds like a no-brainer for you guys if you want to get those things, just because of, like you said, that the fact that if someone does have an emergency, you can get on and know straight away without having to trawl through like a folder. Like, I think those things are, I think they're probably no-brainers for that sort of cost.
Oh, definitely.
Now, you working with other trainers, you said, like, so you just subcontract out?
Subcontract, yeah, exactly right. So I run most of them, but I like to try and have different faces for the guys, because like when you train, as you know, you can get stale. So a different voice, a different perspective is always good. And I guess for business owners out there, if someone's subcontracting to you, it's an offset to the business. So that's a good way to do it as well.
Yeah, fair enough. And so when you've got, is it one trainer running one session? Because if you've got 60 people turning up for a session, that's a lot of people. Do you have multiple people like running one session, or are you running like splitting the session into 2, or how are you structuring that?
Yeah, no, so most of the time it is me. So I'll run everything by myself. I've got nearly a decade experience working with kids, going into schools, teaching kids. So I find the structure of it quite easy. It all depends how you structure it. You can make 100 people just as easily train 100 people just as easy as 10. It's just the way you structure it. But most of the time, if it's not myself there, I do have 2 trainers there, because I just know the experience level is different. And you got to respect that, and you got to try and cater for everyone, because some people like the feedback during session. They love to be egged on. Others don't. But just for form, technique, and just to cover the backside of us, really, it probably is most appropriate to have that 2 of the 3 trainers, dependent on how many numbers are turning up to your sessions.
And just on a legal side of things there, guys, there's no like actual 20-to-1 ratio. That none of that actually exists. It all basic comes down to the trainer experience and the activity. I mean, if you're running 100 people and trying to teach Olympic weightlifting, and you've got limited experience, you're potentially outside of your duty of care for doing that, right? But if you've got the experience of running these programs for kids or whatever, where you're at, 10 years experience, there's no set ratio. So that's a question we get asked a lot. And if you're running large numbers for kids, you can definitely do it for adults. You can probably double that for adults. Adults are only marginally harder.
Unless you're on the Gold Coast, the park permits here, they don't allow any more than 18 people.
So there is a like your park permit has a restriction.
Maximum of 18, including the trainer.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's based on your councils. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and that's I guess you look at maybe going to a school or something, so not in a park. So I go to a footy club.
Yep. Does that include if you go to a footy club, or that's only if you're in a park?
Well, let's just say they don't really check up on you there. It's a park. It's a Gold Coast park, and it's a footy field through the Gold Coast, but they hardly ever come by.
Yeah. So I would say that's probably a council regulatory thing. So probably the same thing here. So if you go and try and train someone at one IB, you're going to have some kind of restriction. like maybe it's 20-1 or whatever it is. But from like a personal trainer standpoint, so like Fitness Australia or any regulatory, there's not actually a set number. All right, we got anyone got further questions here for Jake while he's here?
Yeah, I was wondering about your obviously very competitive on price point, and you said that you had to review your price point. What is that? Do you think that has a lot to do with the numbers that you're getting, and I guess how did you come about making it that price?
Yeah, so look, my price hasn't really, like the price hasn't changed very much from, I guess, that 8 years ago. But I definitely think it does have something to do with it, because affordability is everything. And whilst there's nothing wrong with, like I go to CrossFit and pay $60 a week, and there's nothing wrong with that, but not everyone can afford that. So that's the first part I found that helped get people down. But once they see that you offer a really good service, it's personable, even though the numbers are big. And my thing is I develop that relationship. Yeah, they're down there because it's cheap first off. But then you start developing relationships. You yourself enjoy going down because they're your mates as much as you're their mate, so to speak. So it's more so just the community that you build, and once they've got that community, they'll stick with you. So yeah, the price was important, but it was more so the community that we built. Like we've got the community page on the Facebook. That's all well and good, but it's the ability to go and talk to everyone and say, look, how'd your daughter go at their athletics carnival, or how'd your wife go at hospital the other day. So it's about getting to know your clients on a level, and there's nothing wrong with not knowing anyone's name, as long as you make that effort to get to know them, because that's everything, and that's what I think separates us from a lot of our competition around here. We don't just rock up, do the session, go home. It's everyone has a chat. They come down half an hour early to have a gas bag. So again, like price point, it's very important, the price point, but community's even more important.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's another important message, because obviously if your price point is lower than everyone else, but you've got double the amount of people, you might end up still making, that income back via that avenue, right? So it all depends on where you are. Like I know Loretta's like an inner city sort of situation. So Loretta may be better having like a slightly higher price point, because that's what they're looking for. But it really depends on where you are, like demographically, socio-demographically as well. So that's an important thing to try and figure out what's that sweet point for for your group or your niche. What so you're sitting at, you said it was $250 for the 10 weeks?
That's right. Yeah, that's unlimited classes.
4 sessions?
So they've got 8 to choose from.
They've got 8 to choose from. Yeah, wow, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd imagine that's super competitive price point compared to a lot of the others around your area, or?
Yeah, it is. Look, I wouldn't be able to, in all honesty, to tell you the price point, but say, for instance, even up until 2 years ago, there was boot camps charging $160 for 6 weeks for 2 sessions a week. So we're still very, very competitive compared to that. So I think if you worked it out, it's under $5 a session. Yeah. So, and we do have a lot of little boxes around, boutique, indoor gyms, things like that. And that's fantastic. But yeah, we just needed to make sure we can compete, because it's as everyone knows in here, it's just so competitive these days. So you just got to have that little bit of an edge. So if you can find that edge, whether it's price or the frequency of classes, whatever it is that you're offering, you just got to find it and go with it and back it 100%, because if you don't back it, it's probably not going to work. So you got to have faith in what you're doing before it's going to work out in the community.
Yeah. Anyone else got a question here for Jake? Because I have just a couple I wouldn't mind rattling off, but anyone else got questions here for Jake? No? All right. I'll rattle off a couple. Large numbers. My 2 main questions would be equipment. One, how do you, like if you're in a park, what are you using? One, what are you using? 2, like your setup time, like not your setup time, but like how are you transporting it and stuff like that?
Okay, so I'll start with the last question. This is what I transport everything in. It's only a little runabout car.
Yep.
I get a lot of flack from my mates. So it's not the biggest cars at all. So yeah, with say a circuit, big numbers in summer. Not every station needs to have equipment involved. So yeah, people do love equipment, but say if I've got 10 stations based with 10 people, only five of those stations may have equipment. So it could be, I've got a bunch of dumbbells, kettlebells, battle ropes, aerobic steps, things like that, simple cones. So like I can fit everything in my boot and run like micro bands, resistance bands. So you don't need a whole bunch. I don't think a lot of people would get 100 people to a session. So, on average, you probably only need 5 bits of equipment. So if you're running 50, you might just need, say, 5 resistance bands, 5 micro bands, 5 dumbbells, 5 kettlebells, and you're set. Like, you don't need a whole bunch of equipment. Like, the best sessions that I run with no equipment at all, it's just how inventive and how you can recreate something or make something look fresh that keeps people from getting bored. Like you could go down to the park and do the same old squats and push-ups, burpees, whatever. But it's how you invent it, how you sell it. If you sell it differently each time, it's going to be a completely different session to your clients. Yeah. So you might still have those traditional exercises, but what's your spin on it to say, that was a really good session. That was different, and I like different. That's why I come, because every session is different. But yeah, you don't need a lot of equipment at all to run a huge session. It's just thinking outside the box.
Yeah, and I think if you've got big numbers, I really think things like bands and TRXs, you can put 20, 30, 40, 50 bands in a backpack almost, and 10 TRXs in a backpack. And then that was basically our approach. Is like almost every session would probably have like either TRX or bands or both. And then it would be like one other larger bit of equipment, whether it be med balls, power bags, kettlebells, but usually it wouldn't be med balls, kettlebells, power bags, and battle ropes all in the one session. It would be, like the 2 easy to carry things, and then the one harder to carry activity, which would sort of rotate session by session.
That's right.
Yeah, very cool. All right. So we got any other questions here for Jake? We've got everyone sorted. Beautiful. All right. Well, sorry for the hassles everybody getting on. I was not too sure what's going on. I think I figured it out. I think I was trying to log on from a different computer. Didn't like it for some reason, but back onto my little laptop here, so that's all right. But apart from that, Jake, again, thank you for your time.
No, thank you.
Get plenty out of listening to like different things, yeah. Oh, actually one last thing before we go. Main tip on advertising for your new challenges, is it Facebook ads, word of mouth? What's your main way of getting new clients?
Yeah, so I really hit the Facebook. I'm not so big on Instagram, but Facebook, I'm pretty lucky. Our community page has just over 35,000 people on it. So that's very lucky to be able to share things on there. But then we run the little competitions, if you share so many times, or if you tag or tag 3 friends, you'll get certain price off a session pack, things like that. Or, if you bring 2 friends that have never been before, you'll get the 10 weeks for free, things like that. And they tell a friend, they tell a friend, they tell a friend. And if your service is good, it just accumulates.
Now, is that 35? Is that your personal community page, or is that like the Camden?
Camden, yeah.
So it's not one that you're admin of.
No, definitely not. I wish.
Okay, and you're posting your services in that page or that group. Now,
yep.
Everyone has. This is interesting because we've got someone here who's got a big group. The other Lisa has a big group, I think. With that, how did you go about because they've all got different regulations and rules about what you can post, what you can't post. You just hit up the admin and say, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. Can I share my services?"
I think I'm pretty lucky. Yeah, you just share, and people either tag it, they comment, and we follow up our leads through there. So at the end of each session, really, I just share a photo. I don't do much with it, and it just people will be scrolling through and like it, and then I follow up with a quick message, things like that.
Simple strategy. So sharing a photo to the community, to the Camden community group. boot camp this morning with Hype Fitness, was it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, boot camp this morning with Hype Fitness. Great turnout. Whatever. Comment below if you're in, or anything. Just simple like that, and then people just like it or comment, and then you just hit them up with a DM or afterwards.
Yeah, that's right. And that's a way of getting the leads without having to spend any money.
Beautiful. I mean, a simple strategy, and
Yeah.
that's what we talk about, like giving back. Like that's not even real. I mean, you're just sharing a photo. Like the other thing is giving potential value, but I mean, sharing that photo is not a bad option. Just doing that.
No,
like,
definitely.
There's no skin off your, no skin off your nose or no skin off your back sort of thing to just do that's completely free.
Yeah.
So that's a great strategy. Beautiful. All right. Well, I think that's probably winds us up. Nothing. We went round. Thank you very much, everybody. Last ones. Everyone's good. Beautiful. All right, Jake. Thank you again for your time. It's
Thanks, guys.
Good to hear like another approach. Like I said to these guys always, like it's just hearing from someone who's not us. Because what worked for us may not work for you. What works for you may not work for Stuart. What works for him may work for you. It may not. So it's important to get like just hearing from as many different trainers who are doing the thing, and you can take little approaches. That I think even that sharing that photo with a group is like a little key takeaway. But I think the key thing with that is following people up afterwards if they comment or like it. It's the same as Instagram. If you're not taking that extra step to touch base with them, you're missing out on an opportunity.
Yep.
Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much for your time, Jake. Let you get about your day, and have a good one, everybody. And thanks again. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Cheers, Jake.
Bye.